The street was still dark when the first sirens of anticipation began to echo across the sleepy town. Streetlights reflected off damp asphalt, casting long shadows over empty parking lots. But inside the boxes of lights spilling from the mall, chaos was already gathering. A sea of humanity surged forward, drawn not by reason but by instinct, like moths circling a flame. At the center of it stood Ethan, a man in his mid-30s, dressed in a thin hoodie and worn sneakers, a coffee cup clutched like armor against the early morning chill. His hands shook slightly, not from the cold but from the electricity in the air, the thrill of Black Friday. The words danced in his mind, 50% off, today only, limited stock. They promised victory, a triumph over the mundane, a chance to claim treasures at a price that seemed too good to be true. And it was. The first push Ethan joined the line that stretched around the building like a serpent, coiled in fluorescent light and muffled voices. The scent of hot coffee from nearby carts mingled with the artificial aroma of freshly printed ads. He clutched a list in his pocket, a careful, calculated list of things he truly needed. A new blender, a pair of winter boots, maybe a small gift for his niece. But in this environment, plans were fragile. The moment the doors opened, the crowd surged forward. Ethan was swept up in the current. Shouts echoed. A woman shrieked as someone grabbed the last flat-screen TV. A man wrestled a cart into his path. He tried to focus on his list, but the blur of neon sale signs and flashing numbers assaulted his senses. Was $299 now $99? His heart thumped. He didn't need a second phone charger, but it was on sale. How could he resist? His first misstep was subtle. Just a small, impulsive grab. But the dominoes were falling. The psychology of panic stores are designed to make you feel something. Fear, excitement, urgency. Ethan didn't know it yet, but every flashing sign, every countdown clock was a carefully constructed psychological trap. The scarcity principle was in full force. Only 3 left. It screamed. His adrenaline spiked. His rational mind whispered, "You don't need this." But the primal part of his brain responded, "Get it now." He grabbed the last set of headphones and shoved them into his cart. Victory. Or so it felt. The illusion of savings. By the time he reached the section for home appliances, Ethan's cart already carried items he never planned to buy: a coffee maker, a set of dishes, a portable heater. He paused, staring at a blender labeled, was $149, today $49. His list. He needed it. He really needed it. Or did he? He glanced at the original price, a number carefully chosen to make him feel like he was saving hundreds. Anchoring, they call it. A bias built into human behavior, and Ethan was the perfect victim. He rationalized, "I'm saving money, so it's okay." It wasn't okay. The crowd, the herd, the madness. The mall was now a cacophony. People shouted, barged, and elbowed their way through aisles. Ethan followed the herd, swept by the illusion that everyone else knew something he didn't. Social proof gripped him. If everyone else was buying, it must be valuable. That pair of headphones, that gaming chair, that decorative lamp he would never use. Suddenly essential. His list dissolved into fragments of reason. He added more to his cart, each purchase feeling justified, yet deeper inside, he sensed the gnawing tug of regret. But it was drowned out by the chaos, the frenzy, the need to win. The false urgency clock above the electronics section counted down from 3 minutes. 3 minutes to save hundreds. 3 minutes to not miss out. Ethan's pulse accelerated. Rational thought evaporated. Scarcity and urgency fused into panic. Every second ticked in his chest like a warning, but also a siren. Buy now or regret forever. He grabbed the laptop he had researched for weeks, even though he could barely afford it. He justified it. It's a deal of a lifetime. He didn't notice the sweat on his forehead, the tight grip of his fingers around the cart. By the time he realized, the cart was full of things he didn't need, full of regret waiting to happen. The checkout line hours later, Ethan stood in the checkout line, the cart now a mountain of bargains. A woman behind him groaned, balancing her cart precariously. The cashier scanned items at lightning speed, each beep a hammer in his chest. The total climbed. He felt a strange combination of triumph and dread. When the final number flashed on the screen, his stomach dropped. $248.67. He hadn't even planned to spend half of that. His credit card swiped automatically, a trembling hand signing for a debt he didn't yet understand. He stepped out into the cold afternoon, bags in hand, the sun dim behind gray clouds. Triumph had vanished, replaced by a hollow ache. The deals had been cheap, but the cost to his peace of mind was immeasurable. The drive home. The drive was silent except for the hum of the engine. The bags crinkled, plastic against plastic, a constant reminder of every impulsive choice. Ethan glanced in the rearview mirror. The empty seats reflected his own exhaustion, the weight of unnecessary purchases, and the realization that he had been manipulated. Every sale, every limited offer had been designed to exploit his emotions. Scarcity, urgency, social pressure, dopamine, emotional bait. It was all there. And he had fallen for every trick. He thought he got a deal, but the true cost was only beginning to reveal itself. The day after at home, Ethan unpacked the purchases. A new coffee maker he already owned, a set of dishes that didn't match his kitchen. He stared at the laptop, a shiny new toy bought for savings that never truly existed. The receipts tumbled out, red numbers stark against white paper. Interest on his credit card. Pending payments, minimum balances. Suddenly, every item screamed not deal, but mistake. The emotional toll settled in. Anxiety, guilt, and a creeping shame. It wasn't just money lost. It was his sense of control, his ability to make rational choices, his pride. Black Friday, he realized, had won. The financial lesson Black Friday is more than just a sale. It is an orchestrated psychological experiment, one in which consumers are the variables. Stores do not simply reduce prices. They manipulate attention, trigger emotion, and exploit human biases to maximize spending, anchoring, showing inflated, original prices to make discounts appear larger, scarcity, claiming limited stock to force panic, social, proof, making shoppers feel that buying is the only way to belong, urgency, creating countdowns, to induce fear, emotional bait, linking purchases to love, family, or personal identity. Ethan had experienced them all in just a few chaotic hours. The emotional price of cheap had been far higher than the financial one. The reflection days later, Ethan sat alone at the kitchen table. He hadn't even opened half the boxes. He ran his hands over the receipts, the credit card statements, the bargains that had promised happiness but delivered stress. He understood something essential now. A sale is never truly a deal if it costs your peace of mind. From that day on, he vowed to change. Stop shopping impulsively. Question every deal. Avoid chaos-driven purchases. Prioritize needs over wants. It wasn't easy. The lure of discounts still whispered in emails, ads, and store windows. But he learned the greatest savings are not in numbers on a tag. They are in patience, clarity, and control. The cinematic close Ethan returned the items he truly didn't need, a few carefully selected treasures left behind. Each return felt like reclaiming a piece of his dignity, each refund a step toward freedom. The next year, he walked past the Black Friday lines without a flinch. The banner still screamed, "Limited time," but he heard them as background noise. The crowd surged forward, hypnotized by false scarcity, by urgency, by dopamine-driven desire. He smiled quietly. He knew the truth now. The true cost of cheap is never the price tag. It is the surrender of reason, the erosion of self-control, and the burden of regret. And for Ethan, that lesson, learned in the chaos of a single day, was priceless. He thought he got a deal. Until the bill came. Black Friday doesn't just take your money, it takes your mind. The discounts are an illusion, the bargain's a trap, and the true cost, often invisible until it's too late.